Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today from ZD Toys, we are featuring Deadpool and Wolverine from the mega, super popular, successful Marvel Studios film, Deadpool and Wolverine. Alright, so it's going to be a special double feature tonight. We're going to talk about these two action figures. It's Monday evening, August 26, 2024. And I just received these in the mail a little over an hour ago. I'm like exhausted. It's been a long day at work. But I really wanted to check these figures out tonight and get a review up as soon as possible. Alright, so let's clear up some things first. So these are action figures produced by ZD Toys. They're 1/10 scale action figures. To the best of my knowledge, I believe these are available only in Asian markets. I imported these straight out of China through a third-party retailer on Amazon named Highplay. You can also find these on eBay, but the reason why I didn't buy these on eBay is because, if I'm importing stuff, I like to be familiar with the seller I'm dealing with. And Highplay is a seller that I've dealt with before on Amazon, so I kind of bought these with a lot of confidence. Even though there's some sellers on eBay that are selling these, I just wasn't sure of the quality. I wasn't sure how soon they'd get out to me. And many times on eBay, you'll see stuff where sellers are claiming that they're based out of the US, but they're not. So I ordered these back 2 weeks ago on August 12th, 2024, and it took 2 weeks for me to get these action figures imported here to the States. And I'm really excited to check these out. Now, many of you might be unfamiliar with ZD Toys. I have reviewed a couple of their action figures maybe a year or 2 years ago. If you're a longtime viewer to my channel, you might remember these action figures by ZD Toys. Excuse me. I reviewed their Smart Hulk from Avengers Endgame, and then also their Thanos. At the time, I was very unfamiliar with this company, and I thought these might have been knockoffs, but they weren't. Excellent build, nice quality. They're not at the same level as like a Marvel Legends, but they're still very excellent action figures. And with the release of Deadpool and Wolverine, I suspect that the quality level has gone up a notch or two. So we're going to check these out. First off, great looking package design, wonderful looking images. These almost look like official stock images, which they might be if these are officially licensed. On the back, some beautiful photography featuring both action figures, in different poses, and even show you the accessories. Both Wolverine and Deadpool come with display bases. It looks like extra pair of hands, weapons. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked to check this out. And some more nice images on the side of the box. And these appear to be actual photos of the figures themselves. And then you have the little holograms here, So they're official, supposedly. But we'll see. And this is going to be a double feature, so we're going to take a look at both action figures today. Alright, so like I stated, I bought these through a third-party seller on Amazon. I believe the seller was Highplay Toys. I've dealt with them before, and the reason why I had confidence in them is because I ordered, I think, some 1/6 scale action figure accessories, and when I received them, they were shipped really well. The quality was really nice. The packaging was well protected, and much was the same with these figures. It took 2 weeks for me to get these delivered from China. And it came in a really well packaged, they were solidly bubble wrapped. None of the packages were damaged in the mail. And even though it took 2 weeks, I got them safe and sound. So yeah, I'm stoked. All right, so we got the shrink wrap off both of these action figures. And nice package design. I think it's magnetic. So there's a magnetic clasp over here. So you can save the package and put this in your bookshelf. And both figures look great. And let's I'm not sure if I want to do this one at a time or let's do them both at the same time. Alright, so we'll take out Deadpool and then we'll also take out Wolverine. So inside of Deadpool, underneath the figure tray, you have the display base with the awesome movie logo on the stand. You have to assemble the stand. He comes with extra pair of hands and his swords. And then, oh, this is cool. So it's hard to see on camera, but these additional accessory here are his eye plates. So you can like kind of emote the character differently. Like if you want his eyes wider open or more like squinted and shut. I believe these are the different eye plates. The different eye plates you can use to swap out on his head. Let's take a look at Wolverine real quick. Alright, so likewise, Wolverine has a display base, also with the logo beautifully printed onto the base. He has extra set of hands, open palms, slightly clasping hands, and then he has his claws out. And let's take a look at the boxes one last time before we put these away. Beautiful looking graphics. And then with the figures themselves. And so keep in mind these are 1/10 scale action figures, which I think kind of equates to maybe a 7-inch scale action figure. I believe the average 6-inch scale action figure is 1/12 scale. Alright, so we have both figures. We'll take a look at Deadpool up close first. Wonderful looking action figure. The sculpting on him is so clean. Let's get this into focus. Yeah, the texture on him is beautiful. It's a surprisingly light figure. Almost kind of feels somewhat hollow, which kind of took me back when I took him out of the box. And I think I was right. Let me grab something real quick. Alright, I just want to be careful. I don't want any of these accessories to fly off the tray. Well, they're actually taped on. Yeah, so I believe these accessories right here, they're actually upside down, but or are they not? So these accessories right here are the different eye emotions for Deadpool. So I think you can swap these out. Oh, okay, let's wait. Give me a second. I think they're held in by magnets. I might be wrong on that, though. Oh, yeah, that's so cool. Right, so the cool thing with this Deadpool is that you can take out his eyes, his eye lenses, and they're attached with magnets. So they come with additional eye lenses here, so you could give them different emotions. Like if you want them to look like a little bit more annoyed or angry, or just, you know, some are wider open, some are a little bit more tilted. So that's really cool. That's a cool feature. Now you're looking at a figure that stands in at about 7 1/4 inches. And I apologize if this video seems a little bit scatterbrained. It's been a long day at work, so I'm kind of like a little exhausted, and I'm not thinking straight. So, but yeah, it's a beautiful looking figure. The red is coming off a little bit more orange on my camera, but rest assured, it seems like it's pretty true to the on-screen red that we see in the film. He has the little excess flap on the top of his mask. He has all the panel lining, the sheaths for the sword, or for his pair of swords. He has the holsters. And did the weapons come out? Okay, so this is kind of a bummer. Alright, he has two pistols on him, but they don't come out. So that's kind of disappointing. I'm assuming there's probably gonna be a possibility maybe ZD Toys will give us a second release of the figure. I'm guessing, which will probably have the Ryan Reynolds head and with the pistols that come out, because these are just the pistols here. They're just decorative. They don't come out of the holsters at all, which is kind of disappointing. The belt's well done. The pouches are clean, nicely painted on the buckles and the straps. And then you have the Deadpool emblem on the buckle. Very clean sculpting. I can't emphasize that enough. You know, the texturing quality here is really sharp. Very high definition. There's a sheath here for his knife, which I believe is an accessory tray. Yeah, there's his knife right there. So he does come with a knife. In terms of the articulation, his head rotates. Good range of motion here. His arms move outward. Oh, that's awesome. This is really well engineered too. So when his arms are kind of at a neutral position, the shoulder pads kind of fold in, but then when you go outward, the socket and the whole assembly kind of moves outward. So it's kind of cool that it's very versatile like that. So it allows for a great range of motion. You know, the more you pull out on it, you know, the more unsightly it's going to get. But it's kind of cool that they at least give you, you know, that much range of motion and posability in the figure. You know, likewise with the elbow, it's hidden pins and it's double jointed. It's very clean. Articulated wrists. Again, he has multiple hand options. These just happen to be the fists. He has a cut beneath the breast line, and you get good range of motion there. He has some waist swivel, although it kind of locks up, you know, a little. Doesn't really want to go the full range, and I'm guessing it's because I think the waist is more ovalized than circle shaped, so it's not going to allow for a full like 90-degree movement. His legs kick up, they kick outward. Double pinned knees, articulated ankles and toes. So overall, it's a very solid figure. And if you're curious about the height comparison next to like Marvel Legends, I do have some Marvel Legends Deadpool figures on me. Let me grab them. There's a very stock and standard Deadpool. This is one that probably everyone has. Keep in mind, these are Hasbro Marvel Legends, so you can get a much smaller scale. Like I've stated previously, I believe these are 1/12 scale, which are a 6-inch range action figure. Here's one of my favorite Marvel Legend Deadpools. This is, I think, from the one that comes with the scooter and dog pool. I like this one a lot. I love the expression on his eyes, and I love how he has more black on the bracers and on the boots. So yeah, you know, if you're curious about if these ZD toys scale with Marvel Legends, not necessarily. They're much bigger. And here he is next to a McFarlane, which I think they might be closer in size with. Yeah, it's much more in scale with like a McFarlane figure. The ZD Toys action figures. So yeah, the Deadpool is great. On a scale of 1 to 10, for me, this is... there's some shortcomings, like with the pistols being permanently attached to the holsters. You know, for me, that's a kind of like a points, you know, deducted from the figure. But overall, it's a nice figure. It's really well done. Very different from a Marvel Legends, if that's all you're accustomed to handling. Much bigger than a Figure Arts. So for me, I'd probably give this guy a solid 8 to maybe an 8.5. It's not perfect, but it's an excellent action figure. And I think I paid $39 for this figure, which I think is fair. And keep in mind, this is, I believe, only available in Asian markets. Again, I purchased this through a third-party seller on Amazon, and you could find these on eBay also. Just be cautious of which seller you go through. You really want to make sure you read the reviews and make sure that the seller has a good reputation and could actually deliver the goods. So that's Deadpool. Up next, we have Wolverine. I'm assuming this is the figure people really want to see. And it's great. It's Wolverine in his yellow costume, and it's not agreeing with my camera at all. He's just coming off really, really bright. Let's see if I can dim him down just a little bit. Alright, there we go. The costume looks true to form in the film. I think my only gripe with this figure, it seems like he could do with more paint on his facial hair. It looks... This almost looks like it hasn't even been painted in. This looks like there's like a slight hint or faint brown added around his chin. You know. But it's still a nice figure nonetheless. Much like Deadpool, the sculpting is super sharp on his uniform with the textures. His mask, let's see if I could get this a little bit better, is really well done. Again, something feels just a little bit off. I kind of feel like maybe his kind of like flaps on his mask here, I kind of feel like maybe they should be protruding outward a little, not just flowing back. You know, kind of like, almost kind of like how this Wolverine is, how the flaps kind of go outward a little, where these is kind of recede back. And the likeness to Hugh Jackman, even though it's covering half his face, I'm not sure if it's entirely there, but it's still a really well presented action figure. The belt buckle could have been a little bit better. You know, they just kind of painted the X on there. And if you're waiting for the Marvel Legends one, I believe that's coming out, I want to say either late September, early October. I might be wrong on that, though. But yeah, this is looking fantastic. Wonderful looking action figure. And if you're curious about his height also, he stands in at about 7 1/4 also. Roughly about the same size as the Deadpool. In terms of his articulation, Wolverine's head offers a lot of movement. Much like the Deadpool figure, it's also it almost feels a little bit hollow. His arms rotate, and I'm assuming it's like Deadpool also. Oh, this is actually different. So Deadpool's arm and shoulder assembly, it seemed like it gave, it has more leeway for a little bit more posability, whereas this one, it's a little bit cleaner because the shoulder and the ball joint, it's a little bit more compressed into his upper torso. It doesn't really have that extended outward motion that the Deadpool figure had, which is kind of unfortunate. And the shoulder pads, they kind of like restrict Wolverine's movements for his arms going upward, which is kind of disappointing. I was kind of hoping it'd be more like Deadpool, because Deadpool here, his range of motion is awesome, you know, whereas this one is kind of like very hindered by these shoulder pads. I'm hoping that ZD Toys does a second release and they give us the maskless head without the shoulder pads and the bare arms. Yeah, motion mid-torso cut beneath the breast line. Again, much like the Deadpool figure. Again, much like Deadpool also, his waist swivel is kind of limited. Doesn't really twist all that much. The arms, double jointed, pinless design, which looks nice, very clean. Articulated wrists. His legs kick outward. And then they also kick upward. It's kind of tight. Doesn't want to flow all that well, but the knees and elbows, they move smooth. They're like butter. And these are pinless design, double jointed, articulated toes and ankles. Overall, a solid figure. I think I was more excited about the Wolverine figure, but in terms of which one do I think is the better figure, I think the Deadpool, hands down. I think the engineering, especially on the arm assembly is a lot better than on the Wolverine, even though Wolverine is the figure I really wanted more. But they're both excellent figures. And for comparison with some Marvel Legends Wolverine figures, this happen to be the two I had on hand. This is a Marvel Legends Infinite Wolverine from the Jubilee Build-A-Figure wave from years ago. I think it's missing the cowl on the back. I bought this secondhand recently for like $5. Great looking figure. I believe this is Wolverine in his modern costume during the Utopian era of the X-Men, I think. I think that's the period of time when Asteroid M crash landed, and it was kind of like floating around in like off the coast of California, and all the mutants made their home there. I think this is when that costume, that era of X-Men. And then here's the height comparison. Again, much like the Deadpool figure, you know, it's a lot shorter. Here's a very old Toy Biz Marvel Legends Astonishing X-Men Wolverine figure. Even though this figure is very dated, I still like this figure a lot. You know, it's very antiquated in terms of its articulation and design, but I don't know, it just kind of holds a special place in my heart. And then here's the McFarlane Batman to give you a sense of the scale. So the ZD toys, they really do feel much more in line with the McFarlane toys, especially with these being at a 1/10 scale action figure. And here is, I didn't review this yet. This is the Legacy Collection Deadpool Wolverine figure. And I'm kind of curious if I could put this head onto this body, because I think it looked kind of cool. But I have a feeling this head might be a little bit too small since this guy's so tall. And do I feel like these figures are a step above these older ZD Toys figures? Yes. The Thanos and Hulk figures, you can find the reviews on my channel. These are both excellent figures, but I do feel like the quality's stepped up quite a lot, you know, since when these figures came out. And let's see how this looks next to the Hulk. Just give me a second. Alright, so here's the Hulk figure produced by ZD Toys, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. The quality back then, it wasn't the greatest, and it definitely feels like these are much improved over these figures. And this figure, for whatever reason, its joints has got loose over time, and I haven't handled it since I've reviewed it. You know, it's just been displayed in the box. But yeah, it's a cool figure. ZD Toys, I think their figures are quality. They're not at the same level as like a Hasbro figure or a Figure Art, but I still think they're decent, especially for the price. You know, for $39, I think this is decent. Is this something you need? Much like the Deadpool, if you could wait for the Marvel Legends or the Figure Arts, you're probably better off just waiting on those. If you're like me and if you enjoy the oddball stuff, you know, from Asia, and if you want something that feels a little bit different than the average Marvel Legends, and if you want something that scales well with the McFarlane figures, you know, these might be right up your alley. They're very posable, you know, even though they don't have the same range of motion as a Hasbro figure. You know, you can still get some pretty decent poses out of them. So yeah, I like these figures a lot. They're cool. It was well worth the wait. I apologize if this isn't the best review. Like I said, I'm a little bit scatterbrained tonight, but I really wanted to film this tonight just to like get this out there, because I know that some people have been really jonesing for like some Deadpool and Wolverine figures, and especially like stuff with the new costumes. So yeah, these are great. I like these a lot. You know, there's some shortcomings. Like, I kind of wish Deadpool had gun hands with trigger fingers and actual removable pistols, but that's not the case here. But I do like the idea that you could like swap out his lenses to emote the figure differently. The Wolverine's nice. It's a little bit disappointing, especially with the amount of motion in the arms here, and it sucks because it looks like I just yanked the shoulder pad out of the tab and wasn't glued on as tight as it should have been, which is kind of disappointing. And it's kind of bumming me out, dude. I spent money on this. So yeah, is the other one like that too? No. Yeah, so great figures all around. Glad I got them. All right, so let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.